Hi traders, it's Eddie here from TradeView. Welcome to episode 15 of Trading Talk. In this episode, we're going to go back and revisit a model that we built in episode 9. In episode 9, what we did was we built two conditions. So we had a MACD condition, and then if that condition was met, we set a marker to say that condition was true. And then later on, when a moving average crossover occurred, as long as that MACD condition had occurred prior, we're able to take the trade. What we've done in this episode is we've set a maximum number of bars that second event is allowed to happen within. So for example, you get the MACD event occurring, and then within 5 bars you need the moving average crossover to occur, otherwise we reset and start again. So thanks very much to Hayden for reminding me to do this one, because I did say I'd do it and we went to Hong Kong and I didn't get a chance to get it done. But it's done now, so I hope you enjoy the episode. Also, don't forget about the Algo Trading Conference. I would say we're probably about 80% full now, and maybe even 85%. So if you're interested in coming to the conference, we mention it in the video. Otherwise, you can give us a call or an email. We're going to have 3 professional traders there. Rob here, the head trader. Andrea Unga, the world champion trader from Italy. And Kevin Saunders, a Melbourne fund manager. Kevin's actually coming in probably in about an hour, and we're going to work on building his model for the conference. I'm pretty excited. I look forward to seeing all of you there who purchased a ticket. If you haven't, get in before it's too late. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the episode. Till next week, all the best with your trading.
Traders, it's Eddie here from TradeView. Welcome to this episode of Trading Talk. First, our risk warning. Basically, this presentation is for educational purposes only. It's not to be regarded as financial product advice. Now, in this episode, we're going to add to a model we built in episode 9. What the model did was we had a condition for the MACD, where on one bar the MACD was less than 0, and then on the next bar the MACD was greater than 0. And then what we did was we set a variable and we set that to true, so we made that an event. And then as long as that event had occurred, when a moving average crossover occurred, then we could place the trade. So with that last model, we didn't specify a number of bars that needed to happen within. You just needed to have the MACD event and then have the crossover. And what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to specify a number of bars. So when an event happens within n number of bars. So let's go and have a look. Alright, I'll just pull up my EA Lab. Alright, so here was the last model. So just to recap, so that was from episode 9, if you need to go and have a look. Basically what we said was if the MA on shift 2 is less than 0, and then if the MACD on shift 2 is less than 0, and then on shift 1 it's greater than 0, we set can trade to true. So we've basically specified that event has happened. And then we said if can trade, which means if can trade is true, and then we have a moving average crossover, that's the crossover defined there. Then we'll buy, and then when we buy, we set the condition back to false. So when we come through the loop again, it starts again. Alright, so let's have a look at what we've added to it. So I think what I'm going to do in this episode is I'm going to show you how to build it, and then what I'm going to do next episode is I'm going to explain the complete logic behind it. So I'll give you a little bit today so you can actually get it built and you can test it out for yourself. But I think this one will be really good to explain. So one of the programmers here, Todd, helped me explain it. I think I'll give it to you first and we'll explain next week. So here's the new version. I'll just turn this on. Alright, so you can see we've added a few blocks. So we've added this one here, or this row, this one, oops, and this condition here with the count. So I'll explain how it works. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to set a number of bars that need to occur between one event and the other. So actually I'll pull up my MT4. So I've got one here. So basically this is how it's going to work. We've got, let's have a look, so we've got the MACD, so you can see it's less than 0 there, it's less than 0 there, and less than 0 there, less than 0 there. here the value is greater than 0, right? 0.01 something. So basically, here's where that first event's occurred, MACD less than 0, MACD is greater than 0. And then what we've done is we've said that if within 5 bars we get a moving average crossover, then we'll place the trade. So you can see the crossovers happened here after this bar, and then we've placed the trade. So that's what we're going to do. Alright. So the first thing we need to do is we just need to specify the number of bars that we're going to look back. So what we do is we go and we create a variable called count, and then what we do is we set the count to a number. So we've called that number look back. So how many bars need to occur? And what I've done here, I've just made that, actually I'm going to, let's make it 5. 5 is simple. Okay, but you can make that as many bars as you like. So this is the amount of bars that need to happen between events. Alright, and we've made that an external variable so that we can change it in our tester. So we're going to set the count to 5 at this point here. So if we read this through, if the MACD conditions are met, we set can trade to true, and we set the count to 5. So we're going to start counting how many bars occur before the next event happens. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say that if can trade is true, so if these MACD conditions have been met, then can trade is true, and if our look back, if our count is greater than or equal to 0, and the moving average conditions are met, then we're going to buy and then reset the can trade to false. So basically, if you're counting back bars, as long as, so each time we go through, if the conditions aren't met, I'll show you in a second, we'll subtract the number, and if the number is greater than or equal to 0, then, and these conditions are met, then we can buy. So I'll just explain that next bit. So basically here what we're going to do is every time we come into the loop, we're going to set the count to the count -1. So when we come into the loop, this count is set to 0. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set it to 0 minus 1. So let me play out a scenario. So the first time that you come into this loop, we're going to set count to count -1. So it's going to be 0 minus 1. So our number here is going to be -1. Then if these MACD conditions occur, then we're going to set can trade to true, and then we're going to set count to the look back number. So the look back number was 5. So now our count value is 5. Then if these MAC conditions have been met, we've set can trade to true. So can trade is true here. And our count is set to 5. So 5 is greater than or equal to 0. And then if the moving average conditions are met, then we buy, and then we set can trade to false. So in that scenario, we would be able to place a trade. Let me give you another scenario. Let's say we come into this loop, and we count starts at 0. And then we set count to count -1, so we've got -1. These MACD conditions don't occur, so we can't set can trade to true, and we can't set the look back number, so our count value is -1. None of this matters because the conditions weren't met here, so we go all the way through this loop. Our count number is -1, and then on the next bar we start the loop again. So we set count to count -1. So the count is already -1. So we take away 1, so now count is equal to -2. And let's say these conditions don't occur. We can't set can trade to true, we can't set count to look back, and none of this stuff matters either. So we come through the loop again, and we now set count, which is -2, to count -1. So count is now -3. So we can just keep on doing that as long as the event doesn't occur. Let's just say we get to count is -100. Right, so 100 bars have happened, and we haven't had any MACD conditions. So we're -100. And we come into this loop, and then we set count to 100 minus 1. So we're -101. And then the MACD conditions do occur. So as soon as these MACD conditions do occur, we can set can trade to true, and we can set count to the look back number, which is 5. So that's going to change the count value from -101 to 5. Then obviously can trade is going to be set to true, and then if the count is greater or equal to 0, greater than or equal to 0, so count is equal to 5, and the moving average conditions occur, then we can buy, and we set can trade to false. So that's how it works. What I'll do in the next episode is I'll put it in a table and I'll actually show you exactly how it works in a bit more visual way. But at this stage, if you can build this, then we'll be able to get it working. Let me just show you, I'll show you one I prepared earlier so you can see that it does in fact work. Let's have a look. Actually, look, this is probably a good example here. I mean, that is how it works. So you've got, we went to that one before. Oh, look, we'll run one. Let's have a look. I'll let that play. I'll let it take another one. So count on this one was set to 8. So first we need the MACD conditions to occur. Then if the crossover conditions happen within 8 bars, we can place the trade. Alright, we'll speed this up. So this is obviously going to limit the trades more than it did last time. And obviously you can use this same approach with any 2 events. So the idea of this one is not necessarily to build a profitable model, but just to... Oh, there we go, we've gone too fast. Alright. Okay, here we can see one here. Let's just have a look. So we had count set to 8. So we've got here the value of the MACD is less than 0 there, and then on less than 0 that one. On this one it's less. On this one it's going to be greater than 0. It's greater than 0 here, and we also have our moving average conditions occur. All that happens within 8 bars, so we place the trade. So that's how it works. Enjoy building that one. Let me pull up my PowerPoint. Here, 1 second. Alright, so I'll just quickly tell you about the conference. I know I've been speaking about this in every episode, but look, we've had a massive response to it, so we're getting really, really close to being full. I'm just going to pull it up for you. Give me 1 second. It's algotradingconference.com. Give me 1 sec. So there it is there. So if you're not already aware of what's happening at the conference, it's on Saturday the 25th of November here in Melbourne in the CBD. If you're interested in coming to the conference, you can just click on more information or of course give us a call. The idea of the conference is basically to get you guys to start building some systems from some world-class traders. So it's great that everybody's building all this stuff on the Trading Talk videos, and people are building things at all different levels. But basically anyone who comes to the conference in November will definitely have 3 good models that these following speakers trade. So we've got Andrea Ungar, the 4-time World Cup trading champion. He's coming all the way from Italy to show us one of his models, so you can Google him. There's probably a lot of information on Andrea. Kevin Saunders. Kevin's actually coming in today. We're going to build his model with him today in EA Lab, so that'll be pretty good. Kevin is a Melbourne-based fund manager. And of course we've got Rob here, who is the director and head trader. I'm sure you all know Rob. Rob's going to be sharing one of his models. So you have to think of it like this, right? I always think of new ways to explain. But basically, Rob trades... it's Rob's business, and Rob's been trading his own capital for a long time, right? And the capital here at TradeView is Rob's. So if Rob is prepared to trade his own capital and run a trading firm with his models, and he's going to then show you one of the models, actually show you exactly how it works, and we're going to build it in EA Lab on the day. Basically you're going to be trading the same model as Rob is going to be trading. Make sense? I think that's pretty cool. So come basically December 2017, you will be trading the models that Rob is trading with his own money. Okay, so we don't just talk about it. We're taking on the exact same risk, okay, in terms of the model. So I think that's pretty cool, and basically the same for these guys. So Kevin's model will be one that he trades, and same with Andrea's. So if you guys want to trade the models that professionals trade, then you need to come to the conference. So just get in touch via either the more information here or at the top, or you can give us a call. The number and everything is on the website, on our website, and this one. So that's the conference. Alright. I think there's my details if you want to get in touch. I'm always happy to have a chat with anyone. I really appreciate everybody watching these videos as always, and I always get some good feedback. And a few people did ask for this one because I did say I was going to finish it, and we went to Hong Kong, and I didn't build the next part of the model, so sorry about that. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. All the best with your trading, and we'll see you next week.